Welcome to Global Television and, of course, a Perspective, a program on Global TV. My name is Adikan Michael. The issue is on focus on FCT. The FCT administration has alerted residents on the proliferation of our illegal housing, estate and other development within the Abuja Municipal Area Council. And of course, to this end, the FCT, through the Department of Development Control, said it has already served all relevant notices and has marked the structures which at appropriate time will, of course, embark on massive removal exercise. Joining me this afternoon to discuss on the way forward as regards FCT and the building plan is Assistant Director from the Department of Development Control of the Federal Capital Development Administration, Mr. Mohammed Zadan. Doctor, you're very welcome. Good to have you join me this afternoon on this discuss.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Let's swiftly go into the conversation. There are misconceptions, public misconceptions about, the demolishing of houses from the FCT. And this has to do with the fact that, people feel that demolishing of houses is just an instant actions where they just visit the site and then start the destructions. What can you, say about this issue?
Okay, I think there is need to put things in perspective, so that we can be talking in context. Before addressing your issue, I want to start with the mandate of our Department of Development Control. We all know that Abuja has the responsibility of development control as a department to guide the implementation of that master plan, to guide and control on how to go about development in the FCT. Issue of demolition comes as the last resort. Yeah, it's just like the Nigerian police. Their duty is to maintain law and order.
Yeah.
So will it be right to say, oh, the duty of Nigerian police is just to take you to prison? It only comes as the last resort where you fail to abide by laws and regulations. So the same thing with development control. First, we guide and we also control that development. And where it becomes inevitable, that we have to resort.
Because every 4 years, you know that you people have new, residents coming into the town as a result of new administrations, of course, getting into office. And this has to do with the fact that population in FCT increases. Of course, what are the steps one needs to know? Because one may not have the understanding of
having a title document, a plot of land. If you have a piece of land in the FCT, the first point of call is to come to development control. There is something we call development controls. They are guidelines and standards for that piece of land. Every piece of land you see has its own control, which we have in the department. So as a prospective developer, as you come to the city, the first thing is process it, and if it meets all the requirements, then the department grants approval for you to develop.
So one needs to get approval following the steps before you can actually go into the building proper.
Exactly.
Let me take you a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, there were reactions from residents at the popular Trademore estate here in the Federal Capital Territory regards the demolishing of houses to do with the flooding situation that was faced. And of course, let's take a watch at what the people, the residents of that area actually said.
Since they did this road, the flooding started. And if you take note, if you look at the height where the water level is, if you look, is the road. As much as the road was good intervention, because it was terrible for the people, since they made this road, constructed this road, the flooding started.
We only noticed in recent times that the water flow side to overflow is back. They have tampered with the flow of the water, which is before and after Trademore Estates. The water issue is not limited to Trademore Estate. It's a global problem, and it has to be solved as such.
Majority of us have stayed here for 10 years plus. There have never been any flooding issues. These issues of flooding started let me just say 3, 4, 5 years ago, where there are some developers behind Trademore and beside Trademore have started what they know how to do with impunity by closing the channels through which the water can pass through and go to the normal channel. And the only way through which the water can flow is Trademore, because
These are the reactions from residents of the Trademore. What can you say about this, sir?
Okay, what I want to say is that flooding is not only attributed in the clip we just saw. They attributed flooding to some road construction and other estate development that seems to block waterway. So what I gather from this is that it's possible Trademore is lying on a lowland, and because there is no constructed proper and adequate waterways, people keep building along those water courses. Now the volume of the water after every heavy shower will now come and be deposited at Trademore. This is one of the reasons they are having flooding. Yes.
As a town planner, you are, as a professional town planner, and we understand that, you know, building of houses, of course, just as you've analyzed on the flooding, people that said they have stayed there for over 5 years, 10 years, and all of that. Was there no proper check before the locations of these houses, or these residents are just people who just move into the area?
Okay, I think I need to shed also some background information. The Abuja Master Plan, but later on with the expansion of the city, the FCT administration, you know, thought it wise to increase another phase to make it phase 5. I mean 5 phases. And that lies along the Lube area on your way to the airport. Prior to that, that area is under the jurisdiction of AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council. It's because there is no infrastructure facilities in terms of drainages, culverts, and then, you know, that would take the water to the nearby stream. Now, what they are doing in Lube is what I would call self-help. Those roads were not constructed by FCDA.
The roads?
Yes. They were constructed by the estate owners. Well, it's a good thing because people need road to fly around.
Yes,
that
yes.
is also increasing the value of their properties. So if you check those roads, they are not built to FCT standards. Probably there are no drainages. So when you build road, that is why they said they have been living there, not experiencing flooding. But currently with the construction of road, they are now experiencing flooding.
Of course, as you said, it's not just what the perceptions of the people does not really have to be what should be the matter. And of course, government also have the responsibility of coming out, you know, of course, to put the record straight. Texting, WhatsApp, or calling 09160442536. I repeat, 09160442536. Let's go on a short break, and once we return, we'll keep on, you know, talking with Assistant Director from the Department of Development Control of FCTI. Don't go away. A great pleasure to have you join us on this conversation. Of course, as I said earlier, you can call 09160442536 to join the conversations, of course, with Assistant Director from the Department of Development. These societies, maybe, you know, the regulatory body, and it's as if nothing is yet to be done.
Well, you know, there are regulatory bodies. For engineers, we have a Nigerian Society of Engineers. For town planners, we have TOPREC. For architects, we have ARCON. So this association or bodies have the responsibility of regulating that standard.
Are there no supervisions after the permit?
Yes, I'm getting to that. We are not the one in charge of supervising the buildings. we only inspect. It is the duty of the respective developers to bring their engineers and their architects who would be supervising the construction from beginning to completion. Our own is just to visit, ensure that what is approved is being complied to. But the regulatory bodies are the ones to check quackery and quacks within the respective professions.
It's worrisome that this, of course, you agree with me, that we've lost life as a result of this collapse of building. Of course, a few months ago, the one at Gwarinpa, claimed a lot of lives over there. And not just a mere government coming out to say, okay, this is the...
Talking about Gwarinpa, there's also another jurisdictional issue, because Gwarinpa falls under FHA, Federal Housing Authority. They are the one that controls development within Gwarinpa. They have their own development control department that issues approval. But of course, being part of FCT, if there is any case of collapse, the onus is also on the on the Minister of FCT, first to organize rescue operations, to try to salvage. But also what the FCT administration does is, for every case of building collapse, the minister will set up a committee that will investigate and then make recommendation to the minister. I happens to be part of the people that attended the Jabi building collapse. If you recall, sometimes in 2018, there was a collapse also that led to death of about 4 people or so. So a committee was set up, and largely the committee is populated by representatives of various professional bodies. Of course, there are staffs within the FCT who also partake. They look at it, then they made recommendation to that effect. There are recommendations bordering of those within FCT cycle who are supposed to process the building permit and who did not do due diligence, and also recommendations on the part of the developer who probably might have used wrong reinforcement or wrong building materials, and even the supervising team. Unfortunately, the supervising architect is one of the people that died in that incident. But that committee made a recommendation as to how to punish whoever is found culpable in the case of the collapse.
All right. Now, away from the collapse of building, and of course we are praying and hoping that a government will step up. The regulatory body would step up to their jobs, of course, to arrest the situation that so won't have these occurring incidences again. Away from that, the issue of moving people from a particular area, for instance, that place is that said is government property. And the residents over there understand that it's just a temporary stay. And now, what do government do? Like the issue of UTC, the popular UTC, people were asked to move from there. And you understand that, it's also of economical, to FCT as far as business and all of that economic purpose that have been happening there. What are the provisions of FCT once FCT visit a particular site? And of course, not just economical, but also people that were residents.
Let me talk on UTC, and then I will talk on the responsibility of FCT with regards to meeting people doing their businesses in a particular place. The case of UTC is that, city is a dynamic entity. Even at personal level, you may build a 2-bedroom bungalow today, and tomorrow, where finances permit,
you want to advance,
or your family expand, you want to expand it. Now, a submission was sent to Development Control for redeveloping UTC. They want to do a multi-level kind of development. Now, of course, people are doing businesses there, but the shops do not belong to them. They're either renting or either leasing. So the onus is now on the owner of that property to negotiate with them on how, whether he's going to compensate them or he's going to move them to another place, or to say, hold on, give me 6 months or 1 year within which I will redevelop this place, and then you come back to occupy your shop, maybe a bigger space this time around. And then on the part of FCTA or Development Control in general, Wherever we have such a situation, what we do first is we mark. After marking, we also
what's the duration of this marking?
The 1992 URP law, Urban and Regional Planning Law, provides for there is a cycle of notices to be served from stop work, quit, and then demolition. These are to be exhausted within a period of 21 days. So if you do that, but what I'm saying is marking alone is not enough, or is not the only thing we do. We also engage with the people. We now bring the two people together, the developer and the people doing business, that, oh, we receive a submission. This one wants to redevelop this place. So issue of title or shop ownership, go and resolve with him. Our own is that we deem it fit that this place can be redeveloped. We have process approval, and he has approached us that we need to decommission this place for him so that he can put up the new structure.
An interesting attempt of FCDA regards movement of people and properties from one location to another. And of course, people are very sentimental, regards to the fact that, the economic situations is not really friendly, and this is where people were actually finding, their survival, and it's always really a deep in heart. So that to make as if FCDA are just enemies, can you also, in a way of trying to put to rest, the negativity or the mindset of people living in Abuja regarding your commission?
Like I have said about development control or FCTA, in fact, our main responsibility is to guide physical development and to control it. It's only a last resort. And there are instances whereby we demolish to save lives, to save situation. Take a case of flooding or people building on mountainous areas. With the amount of rainfall, there can be landslides. So if we observe that an area is not fit, it's not good for residential development, and people are living there, certainly we will evacuate them. We won't wait until disaster and offense to take your own life. If I want to hang myself, police can arrest me because I'm not supposed to do that. And then they will give me some guide as how to ease my problems and all that. So in the same vein, so in such instances, or people that build on road corridors, because of finances, government do not have money, but the master plan has led a corridor to be maybe an arterial road. So anytime there is money, we will now give the notice that, oh, government is now ready to develop this. So your expected line is exceeded. Then we will now go in to remove.
Are there still spaces in Abuja to build?
I mentioned about the